And today, we've been talking about the spiritual construction. We talk about physical construction. I don't know. I've been doing some kind of effort these last few weeks, and at the end now I can close some of my suits, and I will invite everybody to try to do better on the physical construction and help me to continue doing that. Don't bring me Oreos or Semitas or you know what I'm talking about. And we talked about the mind and how you need to manage the mind and direct the mind and lead your mind. Do you remember that? If you don't remember some of the topics I'm talking about right now, you can go to our YouTube channel and take a look at those topics. They're very important. We talk about the emotional building, building emotions against hurricane proof. And we also talk about relations on the small groups. And today is a big day because if you happen to be here, you happen to be on the teaching about finances. Say with me, we're going to talk about money. It's very important to talk about it. From 38 parables on the Bible, on the New Testament, 38 parables that Jesus taught, 16 of them talk about money, talk about finances. It's almost half. He talked about that more than faith or more than even salvation. I'm not saying it's more important, but I'm saying, why did he talk about it so much? Why is it, one of every 6 verses on the 3 Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and John, they speak about money. So I believe it's valid for us in the church to talk a little bit about money. Are you ready? Yes. All right. So why do you think Jesus talked about this? Is because money has power in our lives. If we don't learn how to control money, money will control you. And we need to understand this very well. So we're going to read a story which is being very misunderstood, I believe, and we're going to get some truth and some foundations for your money, for you to build a really successful life with money. All right? So let's read on. This is the story of a shrewd manager. It's in Luke chapter 16. And we're going to read a little bit very quick, okay? So read with me. Luke 16, chapter 1, and we're going to go all the way to 13. Jesus told this story to his disciples. There was a certain rich man who had a manager handling his affairs. One day, a report came that the manager was wasting his employer's money. So the employer called him and said, What's this I hear from you? Get your report in order because you are going to be fired. The manager thought to himself, now what? My boss has fired me. I don't have the strength to dig ditches, and I'm too proud to beg. I know how to ensure that I'll have plenty of friends who will give me a home when I am fired. So he invited each person. This gets weird, okay? It gets a little bit weird. Okay, so he invited each person who owed money to his employer to come and discuss the situation. He asked the first one, how much do you owe him? And the man replied, I owe him 800 gallons of olive oil. So the manager told him, okay, take the bill, quickly change it to 400 gallons. All right. Now let's continue. This gets a little interesting. And how much do you owe my employer? And he asked the next man, I owe him 1,000 bushels of wheat. This is a very big quantity of wheat, is in a cubic measure. And one bushel is the equivalent of about 35.2 liters. But this is not for liquids, this is for grain. Okay, so I researched that, made sure I was understanding what it was a bushel. Was the reply, here the manager said, take the bill and change it to 800 bushels. Maybe it was like a little bit more expensive, and he didn't give the 50% off. He just knocked down 20% on that one. So, verse 8. The rich man had to admire the dishonest rascal for being so shrewd. And I told you it gets weird. And it is true that the children of this world are more shrewd in dealing with the world around them than are the children of the light. Do you feel it? Do you feel it? 9. Here, let me wait on 8. Let me wait. Don't put 9 yet. Let me wait. Okay, so don't get confused, okay? Jesus is telling this parable to Pharisees. They love money. He wants to shock them with the story, caught their attention, and that's why he's telling them this story. Now, the rich man, the owner, is not admiring the dishonesty of this guy. All right? Let's make this clear. It's not the dishonesty that he's talking about. He's talking about his shrewdness. All right? Which is, the vision to see a problem, come up with a solution, execute it, and do it. He found a solution really quick. He planned it, and he did it. And then don't get confused. We're not praising this man's dishonesty. Okay? Bible is not saying that. So we need to be clear about it. Now, let me ask you a question. Can we learn something from a person even though you don't share the same views that this person has? Let me clarify to you. Okay, if you're gonna get a brain surgery, for example, do you prefer a world expert on brain surgeries that's not a believer and he doesn't share your point of views to do the surgery on you, or you prefer a non-experienced surgery guy that's a believer? Who will you get the surgery with? That's the point I'm trying to make. We can learn something from this guy even though we do not agree with what he's doing. So that's what we're going to do today, because the Bible has everything and we can learn from everybody. So tell somebody beside you or somebody close to you, I can learn something from you. even though I'm not fully on your way, but I can learn something from you. So let's continue on this. Verse 9, here is the lesson. Use your worldly resources to benefit others and make friends. Worldly resources. Okay? Make friends. Then, when your possessions are gone, they will welcome you to an eternal home. So he's talking about something eternal. Right? And verse 10, if you are faithful, look at this right now. If you're faithful in little things, say with me, little things, you will be faithful in large ones. But if you are dishonest in little things, you won't be honest with greater responsibilities. Jesus went to the jugular, He went like, okay, here you go. I got your attention now. Ta! Verse 11, and And if you are untrustworthy about worldly wealth, say with me, worldly wealth, who will trust you with the true riches of heaven? And if you are not faithful with other people's things, why should you be trusted with things of your own? Verse 13, same one that is on Matthew chapter 6. It says, no one can serve two masters, for you will hate one and love the other one. You will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and be enslaved to money. So Romans chapter 12 says, do not conform, be transformed. Say with me, be transformed. You know, and this verse is really misunderstood sometimes, but we made it a little bit clearer today. So we're going to go and talk about some principles that we can point from this passage, okay? Are you with me now? Okay. Jesus is saying this because two reasons. One, he wanted to teach the Pharisees, you know, he wanted to teach them that they were loving more money than God. And the second thing we can see on this passage is that, honestly, why is it that some Christians are so poor managers? They're so bad administrators of their money. I mean, they're full of the Holy Spirit. They pray. They read the Bible. They're great. They're great people, you know. But why is it that some Christians are horrible with the money? Horrible. Tell somebody beside you, they're horrible, brother. I'm talking about some of them. You know, the group that's hearing this teaching today has the opportunity to learn on. I mean, this preaching is not about giving. This preaching is not about tithes and offerings and all that. No. Today is about administration. All right? I'm going to teach you how to be successful in life administering your money. Or let's call it the right way, not your money. Let's call it administering money. Because it doesn't belong to you. That's one of the first principles we're going to be talking about. So, first thing I can get from this teaching. First thing, do not waste it. Don't waste the money. It might be from your employer. It might belong to somebody else, your parents. It might belong to you. So you think, but do not waste it. Why? Because it says in Luke, in verse 2, it says, the manager was accused of wasting his master's possession. So, do not waste it. Just think, it's not mine, doesn't belong to me. Which we're going to learn that doesn't belong to you. It belongs, everything belongs to God. So let's do you know somebody that died and took everything he had with him? Do you know somebody? Okay, that means some people that stayed took whatever this person had in his hand, everything was handed over to somebody else because it didn't belong to him in the first place. We're just administrators. We have been given companies, we have been given resources, we have been given a good mind. Say with me, I have the mind of Christ. We have been given health. We have been given time. We have been given everything that's not us. We just need to administer it well. And that's what we're learning. So let's not waste money. Okay? Because an account is going to be asked for. You know, when the Lord comes and will say, hey, what were you doing with what I gave you? What were you doing with your health? What were you doing with your time? What were you doing with the brilliant mind I gave you? What were you doing with all those emotions that, you know, I gave them to you? What did you do with them? So when you start seeing the world like this, everything changes. Because it's not mine. Say with me, my precious. That's what we think. But it's not my precious. It belongs to who gave it to you, so you can administer it. You know? So say with me, my things are not my things. My things are somebody else's things. I believe my things were given to me. But the owner of all things, which is my God. Or, what a great confession to make. What a great, they give a big round of applause to the Lord. Okay. Second thing I can learn from this, don't love the money or don't live for it. Because in any moment, it's going to run out. So verse 13 says that you cannot serve both God and money. It doesn't say you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't serve both. It says you cannot. So it's impossible. That's the point. It's not possible to serve one God and the other God at the same time. Either you serve and live for God or you live for the money. So don't live for it, all right? You need to choose between the most important things in life. Most important things in life are the eternal things in life. So I want you to stretch your hand to your side and touch the shoulder of somebody and tell them, you are eternal, my friend. You are a big treasure than anything. You know you're not going to have money and everything in heaven, but you're going to have me. Huh? You're not going to have anything you had here. But you're going to have me. You're going to have your friends. You're going to have your brothers, sisters. Those are eternal treasures. When you think about it, money starts coming to a second place, which is important. Third thing, do not trust money for security. This guy had everything, and suddenly, hey, you're fired. You don't have anything anymore. So don't trust it for security. Your security cannot be put on. Okay, do not trust your security on your image, on yourself, when you see on the mirror, because let me tell you, it's not going to last forever like that. I'm kind of like getting to that, You see my pictures 30 years ago, and oh my God, what cuteness there is there. At least my mom used to tell me that. But it's not going to last forever, okay? That's a given. Your security cannot be put on your bank account, on your job, on your company. Your security needs to be founded on something eternal. You know on what? We should put all our security on the love of God for you. That's eternal. Look, you cannot stop God from loving you. Isn't that amazing? When I know that, I just want to cry sometimes. You cannot stop God from loving you. You can try, you can be a disaster, you can do whatever in life, wrong things, and He's not going to stop loving you. He's going to wait for you to come to your senses, like that guy that came to his senses when we began the series. Do you remember? He got tired of it. He said, I need to come back to God. This is not life. And he came back home. So you cannot stop God from loving you. And the fourth thing we need to know is that it's never going to satisfy everything in your life. It can give you some quick you know, quick little things that you're going to enjoy, but you can buy something. Sometimes people, buy a pair of shoes or a car or a plane, depending on the level of this, thinking they'll be more happy when they have it. And once they have it, they get to know that that was not what they needed, So don't expect love to satisfy everything in your life. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 10 says this: whoever loves money will never have enough, and whoever loves wealth will never be satisfied with his income. So one person put it like this way: how much is enough for a man or a woman? And the response is just a little more. When people love possessions, money, material stuff, wealth, then is never enough. It's just a little more. Tell somebody, just a little more, my friend. Okay, now, so did you get those principles out? All right, are we good? Now, let's put the foundations that I wanted it to transfer to you this morning. All right? Let's put the foundation so we can all go home thinking different about money, and we're going to pray about it today so you can get a breakthrough on whatever you're planning in doing with your finances or investments or projects or with your career. I want to bless your career. Who wants a blessing over your career or business today? We're going to bless that today. But first, we need to put these 5 foundations. First foundation, all belongs to God. We already talked about it. We already, discussed it at the beginning of the message. But it's just a matter of getting this to your bones. We're here just for a while, and everything is handed out to you is for you to administer that and make the best you can do. And then if you start looking at that, if you start looking at everything you have, your house, your money, your businesses, your family, your relationships, everything. The only thing eternal is those relationships, because you'll meet them in heaven. But on anything else, you need to know that eventually we have to go, and we're just administering what we receive. All right? So when you think that all belongs to God, you become a better administrator. When you go to the mall, you have a bank account and you see things and you say, God, the money I have on the bank account does not belong to me. Do you think it's a good use of your money to buy that expensive dress or that expensive pair of shoes? Well, if you don't have that color, then, try to find it. And I don't know why women, have you seen this? They say, I don't have a pair of red shoes. And, well, I saw like 10 red shoes already on your thing. And they're like, yeah, but not that kind of red. and you're like, well, I have a black pair of shoes, a brown pair of shoes. The other day I lost my brown pair. Okay, I'm getting one. And then believe me, I like blue shoes. I don't know why, but I like blue. All right, so I must have a blue pair of shoes. And then your sneakers, they wants to go running and stuff like that. But that's it, But on the women's side, it gets complicated. Okay, I need some black. Okay, but you already have like many black pair of shoes. Yeah, but of this shape? You know what I mean, right? So when you see money as belonging to God, you will be more cautious with money, and you will administer it better. You'll do better buys, all right? Say with me, better buys, Pastor. The lesser, the better. So, okay, second foundation today. God uses money to test you. Okay, first foundation, everything belongs to God. Second foundation today, God uses money to test you. How is that God uses this to test me? You know, what is He testing? He's testing what we love most. You know, there's one way to know what do you love most. I just need to get your bank account and check it. Wherever more money goes, that's what you love more. Where your treasure is, your heart is. So God uses money to test you. You know, He's testing constantly. Who is the first place in your life? Who is? I mean, He's testing a couple of things, you know. What do you trust more, Him or the money? What are you doing to trust? Proverbs 11 says like this, verse 28. If you trust in your money, you will fall. But if you trust in God, you'll flourish like a green tree.